back at the IATA AGM, now with Martin Gauss, President, CEO, Big Boss at airBaltic. Thank you again for sitting down to have a chat with me.
Thanks for having me.
So, could you give us a sense of how your airline is coming out of the pandemic?
We are coming out of it. That's the first thing I can say, because it has been a tough time for all of us. And we see now in the second half of 2021, we see that we are stabilizing and we're seeing a normal pattern of bookings returning, but of course not at the levels of 19. But it looks at the moment as we are coming out of that pandemic like the rest does. And if nothing changes, no new variants coming, then even with the still infection rates in different countries, we see that the passenger demand is picking up. So I would say we are coming out of the crisis finally now. I would see that a clear statement on this next year, summer, because then it should be clear that we went through that winter without a new variant, without like a situation getting worse than we have it now, and vaccination levels at the same time going up. So coming out of the crisis is the statement.
Fantastic. The EU airline industry is under tremendous pressure to go greener. What can airBaltic do to become greener than it is?
We have the green color, we have the greenest aircraft, we have the youngest fleet now, we have the most modern aircraft, only that. So what we did, we cancelled everything else we had and only fly that most modern, greenest aircraft available at the moment. So what more we can do, we can of course improve further, and we will do in the future to become carbon neutral. So that's as a first step. And today we signed at the IATA AGM, all of us decided to be netting off zero in 2050. We will do, we already take sustainable aviation fuels, we will increase that. And we will look always of what is the industry doing, what is their hydrogen, what is there with e-kerosene, but also what is happening on the electric front. Our size aircraft will take a while before that is going to fly electric.
Sure.
But we will do everything, being from Europe, which we can do to address that issue, which will be the biggest issue, climate, after the pandemic.
You're obviously a substantial Airbus customer. You're the poster child for the 220, or your airline is the poster child. What is your sense, or what is your reaction to the Airbus Zero E offerings?
Very good. I think if it wouldn't be the manufacturers putting all that effort in, and I really like what Airbus is doing there, they come with a lot of advertising for it, they do good videos, they talk about hydrogen aircraft, at the same time they're doing a vertical electric lift-off aircraft. So they're addressing all areas, and of course a lot of it will not materialize as it's maybe seen today, but the effort the industry is putting in will lead to that change which is needed. So I like it a lot.
Right. Now we see, of course, airBaltic is the big A220 operator, but Swiss has been an operator for many years. How do you feel about Air France now bringing the 220 to the market?
First of all, we are today the largest Airbus A220-300 operator in the world, and we're very proud as a small airline from Latvia being the largest A220-300 operator in the world, largest one now in Europe. So with 32 aircraft in operation now, we are the largest in Europe. Air France, 5 years after we were the launch operator, very welcomed. It's a co-chair partner of airBaltic. We're very happy to see that they have started using the A220. More customers coming. So with every customer coming, it just proves that we took in 2012 the right decision for the future. And I'm very, very happy for every Airbus A220 customer. We have the expertise now, flying it for 5 years, this aircraft. We really have a lot of expertise on it. We are the only airline in the world doing heavy maintenance, and we have done our own heavy maintenance checks on the aircraft. We are training personnel for others on that aircraft. So all the know-how we have gathered in the last 5 years is also a benefit to airBaltic now and gives us a strong fundament going forward. And I tell you, this A220 had a difficult start as a C-Series years ago, and now it is the aircraft everybody likes, and airBaltic benefits from it, and I will do all I can to promote the aircraft, because it is really a game changer, as they say in their marketing, and I can only confirm that. We had 6.7 million passengers flying, and they are the best testimony for that aircraft. They really like it. It makes a difference flying on it, and it is for the environment the most efficient aircraft you can use now. And that debate will come about how much emissions you have before we then go to the next generation aircraft, which might be whatever kind of aircraft. But this is still many years away before a new aircraft technology for this size of aircraft comes. So what you can do now, you can fly the most modern one, which airBaltic does, and I think you can tell from what I say here that I'm very happy and proud doing this.
Do you find, I mean, you're flying now to also the Gulf, right? You're adding new service there. How do you find the flexibility of the 220? But, you know, you've got short range, you've got medium range, and now you're doing relatively long range with an airplane that size.
You give me the right words there. We have 30-minute sectors, domestic sectors in the Baltics, and this aircraft is perfect. It's replacing turboprop actually, and we are flying not only to Dubai now 4 times a week, which is the longest sector. It's a long-haul sector with the same aircraft, with the same configuration, and we are flying unrestricted out of Dubai back to Riga, which is the more critical sector, even in hot weather conditions, because the aircraft has the range. We also fly now 4 times a week, which is Tenerife from Riga. That is also nearly a long-haul sector, and we're doing this very successful. So both connecting to UAE is also a very good connecting point to Dubai. We are very happy with it. Booking numbers look good because if you are from Latvia or from the Baltics in the winter, you like Tenerife or
Sure.
Dubai. But from Dubai in the future, there will also be the connectivity which you have out of Dubai then further when once traveling comes back to normal. So both these long sectors we do also prove that the aircraft is perfect for what we want to do. We could not do that with an alternative aircraft because it would not have the range.
Martin, have you found any change in the economics of the airplane as you've over the 5 years? Meaning, a lot of people have said that it's gotten better,
Yes.
and that's before Pratt & Whitney changed the gear ratios for a PIP. Have you seen that?
The aircraft gets better and better with each build. We see the build quality going up. I mean, it was built also, the first one we have was built well, but now you can see with each aircraft. So, of course, as they had more and more experience building the aircraft, the engine has matured, so the engine is significantly better today. But what we see now, they recently announced that you can buy a higher takeoff weight. So we could even go further. Now, for example, we could do a Riga daily flight in India. That's the
India?
range. Yeah, we could go to India with it, to Delhi. We would reach Delhi with it. And this shows that this aircraft is improving and it's at the beginning of its life cycle. So it's an amazing aircraft. Which we see, and if we look at all the technical issues which are not discussed in the public, like the health monitoring system the aircraft has on board, which is sending all the information real time down to the ground, the cockpit, how you can use the aircraft as a pilot to manage the flight, it is a game changer. And this aircraft now, I think, is arriving, and there's a lot of demand there because it is very different aircraft to what was flying around before, and that's why it's so much liked.
Right. You mentioned connecting. One of the questions I was thinking about here is, do you find that you could start turning your home base into a hub to connect traffic?
We do fly Riga as a hub. We used to fly in waves, and we had a 50% share of transfer traffic and 50 point-to-point. That has changed now in the pandemic to a 35% transfer traffic. It will return. It depends on how many points we can connect direct to Riga. But Riga will function as a hub, and the airport is built that way and has been expanded that way, while Tallinn and Vilnius, the 2 neighboring states, the cities in the 2 neighboring states, they will be having point-to-point traffic.
Right.
So, and we will continue developing the Riga hub, and from the 2 neighboring states, the point-to-point traffic, connecting them also to the hub. And then we will be, as a next step, stepping outside the Baltics to have a base also outside.
Last question, back to Air France. Air France CEO has gone quite public with a request for the 220-500, a stretched 220. What is your thinking about that particular airplane?
I think it is something which would fit in very well in the future if somebody, before you go to an A321, to have that in the middle, because the economics would be better. My understanding is that there's a long lead time to build such aircraft before it's available. So what people might do, they might go from the A220 straight to the A321. airBaltic today is not looking at that aircraft, but we hear this, of course, being an A220 operator, we hear this question a lot. If it was addressed by Ben Smith, then I'm sure Airbus will look at it and give him the right answer. Of course, logically, if you have a lighter aircraft having the same seats than an A320 would have. That would be economically making sense. Is that being developed by Airbus? I think Airbus to answer, not me.
Right. Well, Christian Scherer said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Okay, so then you have the answer from Airbus, and then hopefully such an aircraft comes, because economics must be very good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.